This is the Demko Bowie by APOC Survival. This one was sent to me by APOC along with two other knives that I can't wait to show off. You can see them in the unboxing video. But this one, designed by Andrew Demko, has gotten a lot of carry from me over this past weekend. And as I record this, Easter weekend just finished. And at this house, we always host Easter, and my wife has a gigantic family, so that means lots of people are coming. And there was a lot of spring cleanup to do, and I felt like this was the knife that was going to take care of that, and it did. So I had this on my, mostly on my hip and on my back the whole time. By the back, I mean scout style, but at this sort of angle so I could reach back and grab it in a sort of cavalry draw. This is a beautiful slab of D2 blade steel with a nice, long, generous G10 handle. I have medium-sized hands, and this fits, obviously. It fits more than enough, but you can choke up here into that two-finger partition area, or come back here and you have a little area to grab on with your finger and use it for chopping. And I did a lot of that this weekend. I'm always talking about the vines we have here. We have a lot of Virginia creeper and English ivy that grows around here, and I'm always battling it in the spring and summer. And this was the knife I went to battle with over this past weekend, and I love it. It carries really nicely. I had a pretty light pair of shorts on with a belt, obviously, and this did not pull the pants down, if you will. So it's not super heavy, but it's super heavy duty. Designed by Andrew Demko, that is a classic Demko style clip point or Bowie blade. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'll show it with this. Here's the 80-20. You see, very, very similar style of Bowie. No swedge on this because it's not a fighting Bowie, and you're not going to be piercing as much as you are going to be chopping, cutting, slicing, that kind of thing with this blade. So really no need for a swedge. And actually, swedge might come in, might be a hassle if you're using this knife to do various kind of chores where you're going to be pulling or pushing on the back or batoning. I did not do any batoning with this, but did a lot of hacking, and this thing did really, really nicely. I have become a huge fan of APOC Survival pretty quickly. And so let me run you through the blade real quick. So this is a flat ground, saber ground blade here. Clip point, no swedge, very extremely sharp blade. This I left the schmutz on. I got to clean this off, and I mean, I don't have to touch it up, but I'll probably strop it a little bit. I was going at it kind of rough with this. I did some chop through some sticks, also lots and lots of pretty tough vine. And then we have a cedar tree. This did some delimbing of a cedar tree, and that's kind of, I don't know, at least our cedar is a little gnarly. So I'm going to touch this up with a strop and get it back to a shiny edge after I clean this with a little rubbing alcohol. This blade is 7 inches long, and it's got beautiful jimping here, that big, generous scoop jimping. You can really bury your thumb in there. It's aggressive enough to be meaningful, but not so aggressive that it hurts your thumb. This is more the one I should do it with because I actually have feeling in this thumb, and it really takes the fat of the thumb in there nicely. Here, like I said, long, generous handle, kind of two positions for holding this, back here or up front. This choil here, not so much. I have pretty slender fingers, and I contact the blade there. If you have big meat hooks, you'll definitely cut yourself on that because it is, like I said, wickedly sharp. Nice lanyard hole back here, and then additional jimping on the back. I love additional jimping on the pommel. Just gives you your thumb something to grip onto if you have to use the blade in this fashion. I did not have to, but I like knowing that it's there. Also, if you need to use the pommel to break anything up, I mean, I did use this to break up a little bit of ice. We got the cooler out and a bunch of ice. You know how it gets kind of frozen together into giant hunks. I did a little bit of ice de-chunking with that. So really nice feature there. Like I said, lanyard hole. I could see using a lanyard here and going around the back of the hand for additional leverage and chopping, but I gotta say, you don't really need it. That handle is pretty generous and does a great job of giving you enough room to swing this thing like that. Here's the Kydex sheath, really, really nicely done. A pancake style sheath with grommets on both sides and these slots. Slots are absolutely necessary because just depending on how you want to orient your clip, it just gives you options. And it also gives the maker options. They don't have to put a million different well spaced out grommets in it to make it work. You get a slot, get the screw in a slot and one in a hole, and you're able to kind of move it around as much as you want. It comes with this locking tech lock style lock. Let me start that over again. Comes with this tech lock style belt fixture here, and you have that nice swinging door. You can kind of lock it by sliding this over. And then something I like about it, and all tech locks generally, is that it gives you these movable partitions that you can put in these slots here to match the belt size you have. And I have a thin nylon web belt that was on the shorts I was using, and this fit perfectly over it and didn't have any slop going that way. Very nice fit with the sheath, very nice fit, and an overall pretty light package for what it is. So yeah, I dig this knife. It came with a ton of grease on it and oil just to keep it, as it's D2, just to keep it from any sort of rust or corrosion. I will, after I clean this up, I'll probably put a light coat of oil on it, even though it's got this, I'm not sure what this finish is, some sort of finish on there. Something interesting, you can see a little bit of grinder chatter on this side. I think if you hold it in certain lights, you can. Certainly does not make any difference or bother me, but it's such a refined thing, and then to see a little bit of that just reminds you that this was made by human hands, and man, yeah, it's a really, really nice knife. Let me show this off with a couple of like style things. Here's a knife that I use all the time for this purpose, this kind of purpose. This is the Cold Steel. This one's got to get cleaned up too. Trailmaster. This one's about 30 years old. It's ancient at this point, but you get the idea in terms of size. That's a 9.5-inch blade. So a great, great size for this. Feels really good in the hand. Super ergonomic, and like I said, a really great work knife. The other Bowie I got here, I'll show it with the other Bowie I got from APOC. This is designed by Mike Wallace, who also worked at Cold Steel and with the Demko brothers. And look at that. That thing is wicked. I have not used this one yet, but I've definitely fondled it quite a bit. A bigger knife. So I'll be doing a separate video with this one. But like I said, this one I have not used yet. This one I have, and I can vouch for it wholeheartedly as a great working knife. And no doubt, of course, I always talk about knives through this lens. If you had to use this in a self-defense style situation, obviously you're in great shape. But especially due to that standoff range you have, with the ability to come down this long handle, it would give you a little bit more range, giving you essentially the length of a Trailmaster. If you choke back, minus 3/4 of an inch there, but you get the idea. I know a lot of you snicker at me when I talk about that, about knife fighting stuff, but a lot of people kind of get where I'm coming from. Of course, I'm not out there getting in knife fights, and I certainly don't suggest you do that. But it's never far from my mind. You know, lots of stuff happens. Lots of unexpected things happen. You might be out enjoying a podcast with your with your earbuds in, cleaning up the lawn, and someone mistakes you for someone else, someone who owes them money, or someone drives up, decides they just feel like taking out a suburban dad, and you have one of these on you, um, you stand a better chance. Let me just put it that way. But really, what you're out there doing is slaying the Virginia creeper and the vines and the saplings with this thing. What a great knife. This is the APOC Survival Demko Bowie. And man, I am sold hook, line, and sinker on this company. I want to get a lot more of their stuff. I've got 4 now with this, the Smatchet, the Wallace Smatchet, the Wallace Bowie, and the Waning Moon Yatagan, which is just ridiculously cool. I love their stuff. It's a Cass Iberia associated company. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is there, but I'm going to have a gentleman on from this company on the interview show, and we'll talk all about it. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for watching.